What's up everybody, my name is Eric and welcome to the Sons of Xero YouTube channel where we firmly believe there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. Today I'm going to be reviewing a barefoot style technical hiking boot for you. This is the Xero Shoes Xcursion Fusion. Real quick before getting back to the review video, in between the time from when I recorded the review and now, we actually picked up Xero Shoes as an affiliate partner. So there's a link in our description. If you're in the market for some barefoot shoes, we'd really appreciate it if you would go down and use that link to get to their website. That helps out our channel. It puts more gear into our hands and then gets more reviews out to you. So back to the review, thanks. Getting into the review of the shoe, this is the Xero Shoes Xcursion Fusion. Again, this is a barefoot style technical hiking boot. On their website, they describe it as a boot that can, take you to the highest summits. You can do the hardest hikes with it, and I'll give you my thoughts on that. We like to go through the specs first off with our shoes, and just so that you can kind of get an idea of what a barefoot style shoe actually means, I pulled up some specs from another boot as well. This was a Salomon boot, a very respected brand, and I'll just compare those two so that you can see the differences because they are pretty big. Now, as far as the stack height on this shoe goes, you can look at it there. It's 13.5 millimeters. So that's all that's between your foot and the ground. It's 13.5 millimeters. It's very thin, which makes it very flexible. And just to compare again to that Salomon boot that I looked up, I'm not sure which model it was. A lot of them seem to be about the same, but that had 26 millimeters of stack height. So there's quite a bit more under your foot wearing a traditional hiking boot. As far as the weight goes for this shoe, it's extremely light. The men's size 9 came in at 13.7 ounces. So extremely light. Again, with that Salomon boot that I was comparing it to, that was at 26 ounces, so double again. Twice as heavy. These things are crazy light. There is also a zero drop on the Xcursion Fusion, so there's no difference between where your toes hit the ground and where your heel hits the ground. You're totally flat-footed as if you were barefoot. Most shoes in the industry have some sort of heel on them, and that's the drop. And that Salomon boot had a 12 millimeter drop. So quite a big difference between those two. But I just wanted to bring that up just so that you could see the difference between a barefoot boot and what your traditional boot is gonna look like. All right, so here at the Sons of Xero, we like to grade our shoes on a scale of 1 to 10. We've got 3 different categories that we talk about. That is the function of the shoe, the feel of it, and its versatility. So first off, let's get into the function of the Xcursion Fusion. This thing functions as a technical hiking boot, in my opinion, very well. I do have one big reservation with it that I will get into. As far as the traction that the boot gives, it's pretty good. I've been happy with it. I've taken this shoe all over the place. I've actually hiked with it on a glacier up in Alaska. I've used it hiking to waterfalls in the Pacific Northwest, and I've used it here in Utah in the snow, and it's always performed well. I just have other shoes that I think work better as far as the traction goes. I slip in this one just a little bit more than my favorite hiking boot. That would be the Lems Outlander. You can take a look at the tread pattern there. It's got those nice big chevrons. I think what Xero was trying to do, was trying to space it out enough that mud and gunk and stuff wouldn't get caught in between, because that's always a big problem with deep lugs. You have to sit there on the trail every once in a while and dig out the mud. So I think they were spacing it out, to kind of negate that, but that came at the price of sacrificing some traction. And I felt that it's nothing that you're going to be disappointed with. These things have great traction. They do really well. I just think there's other boots that do better. And that's just based off of my experience on hikes that I've been on with various shoes. The waterproofing on these is amazing. You know, I mentioned all those different hikes that I've done with them, and every single time it's kept my feet perfectly dry. So as far as the waterproofing, you know, functionality of this boot goes, it's awesome. I really, really enjoy it. I think that it is built pretty well. Xero shoes for me have always had a longevity problem. I've had Prios, I've had Hanas, I've had their dress shoe, and every single one of those has fallen apart earlier than I would have liked. And so getting these, I had a bit of a reservation about that, but like I said, you know, I've taken them on quite a few hikes and they seem to be holding up. I think that they were built pretty well and built to last. Now, my one reservation with this, as it functions as a technical hiking boot, would be the sole is so thin. You know, again, I'll give you that look there, 13.5 millimeters. There just isn't much between you and the ground, and it's designed that way. I can't knock them down for that. But the thing is, I don't feel like I can take this backpacking. I don't think I can take it on a hike that's more than 5 miles long because my feet start to ache. I've been wearing barefoot shoes for around 5 years now. You'd think that my feet would be used to it. I hit my heel very hard when I walk apparently, and no matter what, I can't fix that. But these, yeah, they just don't provide enough underfoot for me. If you've been in barefoot shoes for a long time, if that's something that your feet are used to, then I think these would work out really well for you. But I just feel like, you know, if I'm on a very technical and very long trail, there's a good chance I'm gonna step on something very sharp, really hard rocks, tree roots, and that my feet are gonna get kind of buggered up. Every time I wear these, I feel like I come back and my feet are a little bit sore, and there's other barefoot style shoes out there where that's just not the case. So that is my one big reservation as far as the functionality of this boot goes, and that's just that, you know, for longer hikes, I wouldn't use them. I would definitely go somewhere else. Second category that we have is the feel. And I gotta say, these things do feel really good on your feet. That toe box is nice and wide. Now it is slimmer than the other Xero shoes that I have tried on. I noticed that immediately when I put it on. It kind of hugs your foot a little bit more, but it's a technical hiking boot. I think it should do that. You want to feel as secure as possible. So on top of the wide toe box that these have, they are also extremely light. Like I talked about with the specs, they're only 13.7 ounces per shoe. And I gave these a break for a while. I was using my Lems Outlander pretty much exclusively for a month or two, and I remember putting these back on and noticing how light they actually felt. So that is one thing that's really great about these is, you know, they're not gonna weigh you down. If you're looking for the lightest boot out there, this is probably one of the top contenders for that. All right, another great way that these shoes feel is with how flexible they are. You can see that there, they roll up into a nice ball. They really do let your feet move the way that they're supposed to. And I really enjoy that when I'm out hiking. I want my feet to move as natural as possible. I want there to be as little of a barrier between me and the ground, and these do a fantastic job at that. But as I mentioned before, that's also my one reservation with the boot, and that is that they might not be protective enough for everybody. Because that sole is so thin, they just don't protect you underfoot the way that I would think that a technical boot should do. I've found with the waterproof lining as well, these are a little bit warm. In the shoulder seasons, I feel like my feet were getting a little bit sweaty, and that kind of just comes with having that waterproof lining in there. I don't know if there's really much you can do about it to make it more breathable. But that was one thing that I noticed. These do feel a bit warmer to me than the Lems Outlander do. But overall, a very good feeling boot on your foot. All right, so the last category that we have to talk about here is the versatility. And for me, this just screams hiking boot. It's the only thing that I'm gonna do with this shoe. The website talks about, you know, taking it out on extreme trails and then hitting the town in your jeans or your khakis. And for me, I'm just like, no, that's not gonna happen. There are way better looking technical barefoot hiking boots out there. I'll go ahead and throw a picture up. This is gonna compare the Lems Boulder Summit, one of their newest boots, the Vivo Tracker, and the Xero Shoe. And for me, there's a very clear winner, and it's definitely the Lems. Those Vivos look really good too, and that's not to say that this is an ugly boot by any means, but it's not something that I'm gonna wear to dinner. It's not something that I think I could ever dress up. It just has that, you know, hiking boot look to it, which is totally fine. That's obviously what it's built for, but I would say that it definitely does not have the versatility that I would want it to have, you know, to be something that I wear very often. All right, so that brings me to the overall score of the Xero Shoes Xcursion Fusion, and I gave these a 6 out of 10. Top marks in the functionality of the boot. Is a great hiking boot. Middle grade for the feel, and I talked about the reservation there, and then really low marks for versatility, and that put it at a 6 for me. Now, if you are looking for a barefoot boot, if you want something that is very light, that has barely anything underfoot and your feet can handle that, I think that this will be perfect for you. If you are like me and you need a little bit more underfoot for those long hikes, if you want to take it backpacking, if you want to do something over 5 miles, then I probably would look elsewhere. But this is a really, really good shoe. Can't knock it down too much, but I think that there are other barefoot style shoes out there that might serve more people better, which is why for me it came in at a 6 out of 10. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like this content, make sure that you like and subscribe. There are a few different places that you can find content from us. So obviously we have this YouTube channel, The Sons of Seaver. We also have an Instagram account that's associated, so go ahead and look that up. I have my own YouTube channel called A Pilot's Life for Me. So if you like the B-roll footage that was going during this video, then go ahead and head there. That's going to be videos of the hikes that we go on. So not really reviews, it'll be featuring the different products that we're using, but really it's just kind of nature videos, drone footage of the stuff that we're doing. My brother Chris has his own channel called Xero Shoots. So if you're into gun industry stuff, then you can go check that out. He does reviews on all sorts of gear that has to do with guns. And then we're also on Strava. So that's kind of a fun app that you can go and you can see the hikes that we're going on, where the trailheads are, how long they are, how long the hikes took us, and things like that. And it's a really great place to go build a community and track all the stuff that you're doing as well. You can put all sorts of activities on there. So bicycling, running, hiking, swimming, whatever you can do, you can track it through that app, and that's really fun. So thanks again for watching this review. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next time.